Alrighty, preview time. We've got 8 games, count them 8, on tonight. Some big playoff implications with a lot of these, and that's how we like it this time of year. Let me take a look. There's no games that don't have some form of a playoff implication to them. Even if one of them is fleeting, the playoff implication is still there. So let's go ahead and jump in. Nashville. The Preds can kind of exert themselves as being the best team in the division tonight if they can go into Winnipeg and win the game. Nashville's 37-24-5. Winnipeg is 37-22-4. So for Nashville, they need to go in. They need to win this and win at regulation. Because right now they're first in the Central. They're 1 point ahead of Winnipeg, but Winnipeg has those games in hand. So you can make those games in hand less important by winning in regulation tonight in Winnipeg. They're 5 points ahead of St. Louis. Do not overlook the St. Louis Blues. You would do so at your own peril. Whereas Winnipeg is 37-22-4, second in the Central, 1 behind Nashville, and 4 ahead of St. Louis. So, playoff implications all around. It's going to be an interesting one. Let me check something. All right, just wanted to take a look at starting goalies for today. Let's talk about the teams, though, and continue with the record look. On the road, Nashville's 16-12-4. At home, Winnipeg's 21-8-4. So that favors Winnipeg absolutely. February's record, Nashville was 7-6-1, and the Jets are 4-6-2. So they're going to look for March being a fresh month and brand new ideas and hopes and dreams. It is weird how month to month teams' records vary so widely, and that at the start of a month you'll see them all of a sudden playing better. It's been strange. I've been watching that this year. Scoring over their last 10 games, Forsberg has 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 games. Arvidsson, 4 goals and an assist. Mikael Granlund, 3 goals, 2 assists. Boyle, 2 goals. Simmons has 3 assists in his last 10 games. Yossi, 4 goals, 5 assists. And PK Subban, 2 goals, 3 assists for the Nashville Predators. On the Winnipeg side of things, Laine, 4 goals, 3 assists. Wheeler, 1 goal, 7 assists. Kevin Hayes, 2 goals, 3 assists for him. Ehlers, 4 goals. Little, 1 goal, 4 assists. Myers, 2 goals and 1 assist. And Sherratt with 4 assists to round things out for them. Goaltending. No confirmation of a goaltender yet for the Nashville game. I'm thinking Pekka Rinne because it's a huge game. He's 23-16-3 with a .914 save percentage. Saros is the backup, I would think, at 14-8-2, .916 save percentage. Surprise here, Winnipeg's going with Brisebois. So Hellebuck's not playing, 27-18-2 with a .910 save percentage. Brisebois 10-4-2 with a .929 save percentage. Don't let that fool you over his last 3 or 4 starts. His save percentage is around .870. So definitely something that Winnipeg needs to work on. Getting those numbers all straightened out. Maybe Brisebois has a great game tonight against Nashville. Both teams have won a game between these two teams this year. This is their 3rd meeting. They're in the same division. I would imagine this is the 3rd of 4. And it's been a pretty excellent rivalry between the two. That being said, moving along. Pittsburgh. The Penguins in against Buffalo. Buffalo, playoff hopes are fading. Pittsburgh doesn't want theirs to fade. Pittsburgh's in a tough position, but it's a position they can play their way out of. And it feels like all these teams in the Metro are kind of trying to one-up one another, and they're trying to do everything in their power to make sure they're not the one left out in the cold. Right now, it would be Pittsburgh. But with a win tonight, they can make it so it's not them right now. 33-22-8 is Pittsburgh's record. 29-26-8 is the record of the Buffalo Sabres. Right now, Pittsburgh's in a tie for the number 2 wild card with Carolina, but they have 1 less regulation or overtime win. They have 32 regulation and overtime wins. Carolina has 33. So what that means is that right now Carolina would beat them out in that category. They are 1 point, however, behind both Columbus and Montreal. So Montreal has to be watching these games as well. Now Buffalo, they're 8 points out of the playoffs. A straight loss tonight in regulation means better luck next year for Buffalo. Although they're really, really close to that category right now. I'm doing my best not to say it, but they're pretty close. They're still making their best effort, but it hasn't been a lot of fun the last few months for Buffalo. On the road, Pittsburgh 16-10-6. At home, Buffalo is 18-9-4. In February, the Pittsburgh Penguins were 6-5-2, whereas Buffalo was 4-7-2. So that's not a record that the Buffalo fans are going to hope continues in March. Scoring over their last 10 games. Sidney Crosby, 4 goals, 12 assists. He gets better as the season goes along. Malkin, 6 goals, 3 assists. Kessel has 7 assists. Jared McCann, 5 goals for him. Bjugstad, 2 goals, 2 assists. Marcus Pettersson, 2 goals, 2 assists. Schultz, 1 goal, 7 assists for him. On the Buffalo side, Eichel, 5 goals, 7 assists. Skinner, 3 goals, 5 assists. Sherry, 1 goal and 2 assists for him. Mittelstadt, 2 goals. Pominville, 2 goals, 2 assists. Dahlin, 2 goals and 6 assists. And Brendan Montour, who of course is a new Sabre, 1 assist for him in his last 10 games played. Goaltenders, Matt Murray is listed as likely right now. He's 19, 10, and 2 with a .912 save percentage. DeSmith, 14, 11, and 5 with a .914 save percentage. On the Buffalo side, Olmark's been confirmed, so Hutton will be the backup. He's 16, 18, and 4 with a .910 save percentage. Olmark's 13, 8, and 4 with a .909 save percentage. Buffalo has won the only meeting between these teams this year. Let's see how meeting number 2 goes. Overall, I like Pittsburgh's chances here. They have an excellent road record. I understand Buffalo has a great home record too, but for Pittsburgh, this game is key, and Crosby does seem to be getting better as the season goes along. Next up, Philadelphia. 30 wins, 26 losses, and 8 overtime or shootout losses for Philly. Of course, they lost in overtime last night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they're in a rough position. However, they're in against the New Jersey Devils, who are 25, 31, and 8. And the Devils have had a pretty rough season overall. The Flyers are 6 points back of the second wild card. New Jersey is 16 points back. 16. It's been an ugly year for New Jersey, and they're just playing out the string. On the road, Philadelphia is 13, 14, and 4. At home, New Jersey 17, 11, and 5. But that home record is nowhere near as solid as it was early in the year. February was a great month for Philadelphia, 8, 3, and 1. Again, it's just a matter of once you get that far behind, it's tough to catch up. The New Jersey Devils 6, 7, and 1 in February for them. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this works out, because if New Jersey can take down their division rivals in Philadelphia, and they've got a good record against them this year, then they make it so that Philly's just pretty darn near done. You don't want to say it because it's more fun when you don't have things decided, but Philly's pretty close to being out of it. Nolan Patrick over the last 10 games, 2 goals, 5 assists. Konechny, 4 goals, 4 assists. Couturier, 3 goals and 11 assists. Voracek, 5 goals, 5 assists. Lindblom, 5 goals, 2 assists. Sanheim, 3 goals, 6 assists. Gostisbehere, 1 goal, 5 assists. On the New Jersey side, Rooney with a goal and an assist. Hischier, 1 goal, 6 assists. Zajac, 2 goals, 3 assists. Agostino, 1 goal, 2 assists. Green, 1 goal, 3 assists. And Severson and Butcher also have a goal and 3 assists in their last 10 games played. Goaltenders for tonight. This was a surprise when I looked it up. I did this board up last night. And then I look and I go, who's starting? Oh, it's Talbot. So is Elliott the backup then? So they're carrying 3. Anyways, it'll be Talbot's debut as a goaltender for Philly. Elliott's 8-7-1, 917 save percentage. I assume he's the backup. That would make Carter Hart the number 3 guy at 13-8-1 with a 917 save percentage. If you're not going to play Carter Hart, send him down to the American League and get him some games played. On the New Jersey side of things, Corey Schneider's been confirmed as the starter. That'll make Blackwood the backup. He's 6-5 with a 928 save percentage. Schneider's 4-8-2 with an 898 save percentage. New Jersey has won 2 out of 3 meetings between themselves and the Philadelphia Flyers this year. So this is a relatively big game for Philly, but they all kind of are right now. And it is very interesting to me that Cam Talbot's the guy they're throwing in and not Carter Hart. You would think Carter Hart would go in here. To me, that says that the coaching staff doesn't have faith that Carter Hart can pull it out. But again, you know, we'll see what's going to happen with Philly. Because when it comes to goaltenders in Philly, your guess is as good as mine, because they seem to keep us guessing at all times. Next up, Vegas. So the Vegas Golden Knights coming off a big win, because they're all big wins this time of year, over the Florida Panthers. Now they go into Anaheim and play against the Ducks. Now they're 34-26-5. The Ducks are 24-31-9. The Ducks are done. There's no two ways about it. Now, Vegas is third in the Pacific, but they're entrenched there. They're 9 points behind San Jose. They're 16 behind Calgary. They are currently 6 points ahead of Arizona. So, barring some unforeseen huge surprise, these guys are third in the division. Now, Anaheim is 11 points out of that second wildcard spot. Again, playing out the string, and there's guys playing for jobs with the general manager standing right behind the bench. On the road, Vegas is 15-16-1. They've got to get that road record going. Here's the problem. If you are the number 3 team in your division, your first 2 playoff games are played on the road. So they don't have that home crowd to fire them up. And in a first-round matchup with likely San Jose, they may very well miss that, and it may give San Jose a chance to get one up on them in the playoffs early. At home, Anaheim is 12-10-8. It's not a very good record. I mean, when you look at it, you go, 12 wins, 10 losses is bad. Or they've won 12 out of 30 at home. February, Vegas was 5-7-1, whereas Anaheim was 3-10. Of course, Vegas has won their last 2 in a row, and now they get a chance to go into Anaheim. It is a pretty good schedule that Vegas has right now, and we'll see if their good fortunes with the schedule will continue, and if they're able to solidify that spot in third even more, hold off a charging Arizona Coyotes. We'll see. Scoring leaders over their last 10 games. Riley Smith kind of got off the snide last night. He's got 3 goals and 8 assists now in his last 10 games. Carlson, 2 goals, 4 assists. Stone, 5 goals and 2 assists. Of course, he hasn't scored yet in his first 2 games with Vegas. Tonight may be the night. Stastny, 2 goals, 7 assists. Eakin, 1 goal, 4 assists. Schmidt, 4 goals, 3 assists. And John Merrill, who's on kind of a hot streak. He's playing well. 2 goals, 4 assists for him. On the Anaheim side of things, Troy Terry, 2 goals and an assist. Shore, 1 goal, 2 assists. Silverberg with 4 goals. Rowney with 2 goals and an assist. Kessler, 1 goal, 1 assist for him. I believe that was in the last 2 games, but pointless over the time before that. Lindholm, 1 goal, 2 assists. And Jacob Magna, I thought I'd throw him on the board with an assist in his last 10 games played, because I thought he played relatively well in the last game I watched. No confirmation on goalies. It's going to be Fleury, because Subban played last night. Fleury's 30-19-5 with a .907 save percentage. Subban is now 4-6, also with a .907 save percentage. On the Anaheim side of things, I expect Miller, 6-4-1 with a .925 save percentage. Boyles 1-3 with a .928 save percentage. They'll probably pull a Flyers and put somebody else in that I don't even have on the board. Don't even have on the board. Like Johnson, maybe Gibson comes back, something like that. Anyways, Vegas has won all 3 meetings between these teams this year. Did I mention New Jersey's won 2 out of 3 against Philly? Well, I just did. So yeah, Vegas has won all 3 meetings this year with Anaheim. Vegas loves playing against teams in their division. Play very well against teams in their division. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and switch boards. Alrighty, so we're going to look at Washington and the Islanders next. The battle for first place in the Metro. So the Islanders have to be feeling pretty good coming off of their win over Toronto. Don't feel too good. This is the thing. You come off that emotional high. Fans are all excited. Everything's great in New York. Now you got the Capitals coming in. The Capitals are 36-21-7 as opposed to the 37-19-7 Islanders. The Islanders are just flat out better right now. But in a matchup with the Washington Capitals, these are always close. The Capitals, of course, second in the Metro behind the Islanders, 2 points back. 4 points ahead of Columbus, which means the Islanders first in the Metro, 2 points up on Washington, 6 up on Columbus. The Blue Jackets have not given up on that dream of finishing first. Neither have Carolina, nor have Pittsburgh. This division is very tightly bunched together. It was a topic of conversation for much of last season, and it is again this year. Now, on the road, the Capitals are 17-12-2. At home, the Islanders are 19-8-4. So, both of them pretty darn solid. Washington's road record has been better at points this year, but you know what? It's still a pretty solid record. February was a good month for the Capitals, 9-4-1. It was an 8-4-2 month for the Islanders. Not much difference here. There is some belief that maybe the Caps had a better month than the Islanders overall, but still. The Islanders come out looking pretty good from last night's win over Toronto. Right? Ovechkin for the Capitals, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points over his last 10 games. Wilson, 4 goals, 4 assists. Vrana, 2 goals, 5 assists. Oshie, 4 goals, 5 assists. Connolly, 6 goals and 3 assists. Carlson, 2 goals, 6 assists. And Orlov with 5 assists to round things out for the Capitals. On the Islanders side, Nelson, 3 goals, 6 assists. Lee, 4 goals and 1 assist. Barzal, 1 goal, 3 assists. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. How many teams are there in the league that their top scorer could be kind of cold over the last 10 games, over the last month, and you don't really notice it because they're still winning enough? That is where we're at with the Islanders now. Barzal with his 1 goal, 3 assists. Not fantastic, but you know what? He doesn't have to be, and that's good for him as a kid in his development. Bailey, 3 goals, 7 assists. Casey Cizikas, who is this guy? I've always liked Cizikas, but this goal scoring's new. 6 goals and an assist for him. Boychuk with 3 assists. Pulick, 4 goals, 4 assists, and he is becoming a better defenseman with every passing week, it would seem, for the New York Islanders. Goaltenders are confirmed for this one. Holtby starts for the Washington Capitals, 22-16-4 with a .908 save percentage. Copley is 14-5-3 with a .901 save percentage. On the Islanders side of things, Greiss is confirmed as the starter. Leonard, the backup, 20-10-5 with a .931 save percentage. Greiss is 17-9-2 with a .928 save percentage. Both teams have won a game this year against one another. This is going to be a very close game. At least I say that, and yet, for all we know, the Islanders may have spent themselves last night, and the Caps come in and capitalize on it since it's a back-to-back. But their goaltending has been excellent. The Islanders have been excellent on the second of back-to-backs. It is part of how they built their record up to be so strong, and I don't anticipate that necessarily changing tonight. It should be, if I'm going to have a game of the night, that's probably the game of the night. Next up, Montreal, 34-23-7. In against the 27-26-7 New York Rangers. Of course, the Rangers are playing out the string, much like Montreal is playing to get in. So that should mean that the Montreal Canadiens are going to win this one going away. The thing is, the goaltending matchup tells you this could be a very different game. The Montreal Canadiens are the #1 wild card. They are 7 points back of Toronto. So their hopes of catching the Leafs, they're not really there. The Leafs lost last night, but if they win, they're within 5. It gets dodgy. But they're 1 point ahead of Carolina and Pittsburgh. So they have a lot to play for because if Carolina and Pittsburgh both pass them, they're out of the playoffs. On the Rangers side of things, they're 10 points back of the second wild card. They know. They know what's going to happen. On the road, Montreal's 15-13-3. In February, 6-5-2, so not a great February record. But the Rangers 16-10-7 at home, and their record in February, 5-5-3, so not a great record there either. Tatar, 6 goals, 2 assists for Montreal. Gallagher, 6 goals, 2 assists. Max Domi with 5 goals, 7 assists. Max has been heating up nicely for Montreal during a period in time where they've got a lot of really dangerous scorers, including Shaw with 5 goals, 4 assists. Byron, 2 goals, 4 assists. Jordy Ben with 4 assists. Give that man a raise, 4 assists. Shea Weber, 1 goal, 4 assists for him in his last 10 games. On the Rangers side of things, VC, 5 goals, 4 assists. Zibanejad, 5 goals, 5 assists. Nemesnikov, 4 goals, 3 assists. Strome, 3 goals, 5 assists. Buchnevich, 3 goals, 4 assists. Shea with 3 goals. And Shattenkirk, 7 assists to round things out for the Rangers. For those wondering, yeah, I do 5 forwards, 2 defensemen. And I just pick guys. I look through and go, that's interesting that he's got that amount of points in the last 10 games. I'll throw that up there. It's a breakup from what I was doing with the previews before where I would just list the top scorers. And for people who might be in fantasy and the daily fantasy where you decide who to sit and who to dress, gives you an idea of who's doing well and who might be flying under the radar. Starting goaltenders, Carey Price, 26-18-5, .917 save percentage, has been just pure excellence for the last couple of months. Niemi, 8-5-2 with an .889 save percentage. On the Rangers side, it's going to be Lundqvist, which makes Georgiev the backup. He's 10-10-1 with a .902 save percentage. Lundqvist is 17-16-9 with a .907 save percentage, and both teams have won a game between these two. It's an interesting matchup. It's an original 6. These teams met in the playoffs not that long ago. That being said, the makeup of these teams has changed dramatically since they met in the playoffs. The biggest thing that stayed the same is its Price and Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist is a guy who doesn't believe in tanking. He doesn't take a night off, and even if the team in front of him isn't playing very well, he does not change the way he plays. He doesn't play down like, oh, well, we're done anyways, we're screwed. That doesn't happen with Henrik Lundqvist. So he may very well have a great game because he's looking at the other end of the ice and sees Carey Price. But we'll see about that, right? Next up. This is weird. You know, I did this up on the board last night. And I looked at it. And I looked at Hockey Reference, which is where I get all the records, all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, really? So, St. Louis is 34-23-6. Carolina is also 34-23-6. I'm not done yet. It gets weirder. Now, St. Louis is third in the Central. They're 5 points behind first place Nashville, 4 points behind Winnipeg. The Carolina Hurricanes are number 2 wild card, and they're tied with Pittsburgh, which again shows making the playoffs in the West and the East is a completely different experience based on your record. They're 1 point behind Montreal and Columbus, so Carolina absolutely in control of everything right now. That's why I'm wearing Hartford as for Carolina. So people are like, why is he wearing Hartford? Because Carolina's wore Hartford this year, so why not? And because I haven't worn this jersey in a while. I don't think I've worn this jersey. I don't even know if I've worn this one in a video. We're at that stage now. On the road, St. Louis is 17-10-4. And at home, Carolina is 17-10-4. Yeah, it's weird. Not a lot to choose between these two. In February, St. Louis is 12-1-1. Carolina is 10-3. And I have a bunch of jerk shirt on the way. Carolina Pro Shops mailed it out, so I'm looking forward to having it and wearing it and having some fun wearing that shirt. I could do one of those sort of comedy-esque parody type videos that I've done very, very occasionally. You've got to watch You Don't Overdo That, or you've overdone it, and then you don't overdo it. Anyways, scoring over the last 10 games. O'Reilly has 4 goals and 6 assists. Tarasenko 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points. Bozak, 3 goals, 5 assists. Barbashev, 2 goals and 1 assist. Sundqvist, 4 assists for him. Parayko, 1 goal and 3 assists. Bortuzzo, a goal and an assist on the St. Louis blue line. Carolina, Sebastian Aho, 1 goal and 9 assists. So even if he's not putting in goals, he's always getting assists. Williams, 4 goals, 6 assists. Teravainen has been amazing since signing that extension. 6 goals and 8 assists for him. He is the goal scorer they were looking for, apparently. Svechnikov, 1 goal, 4 assists. Wallmark with 2 goals, 2 assists on the blue line. These guys were both rumored to be traded. Didn't get traded. Glad they didn't. Hamilton, 3 goals, 3 assists. And Brett Pesce, 3 assists for the Carolina Hurricanes. I like Pesce a lot. I'm glad he's still there. Goaltenders, Allen is listed as likely for this one tonight. He's 17-15-5 with a .902 save percentage. That would make Binnington the backup at 15-2-1 with a .936 save percentage. McElhinney's been confirmed as the starter for Carolina. He's 16-7-1 with a .923 save percentage. Mrazek's 15-12-3 with a .903 save percentage. And St. Louis won this matchup in St. Louis earlier this year. It is now Carolina's turn to try to turn the tables at home. Yeah, that works. There's a lot of table talk, but you guys get what I'm talking about. All right, and finally, last but not least, the Colorado Avalanche go into the San Jose Shark Tank tonight and try to extract a win against a team that's beaten them this year, and we'll see where we're at. San Jose fashions themselves as a cup contender. Colorado fashions themselves as just a playoff team. We'll talk contender later. They're 28-24-12, whereas San Jose's 37-19-8. And San Jose, given the winning streak by Calgary and a couple of losses here and there that they've suffered, and it does look like they're entrenched in their position. Now, Colorado's 1 point out of the number 1 wildcard spot. They are tied for the second wildcard spot with Minnesota. They do not have that playoff spot. Minnesota has it, but it's still so early in the season. We have less than 20 games left, but it's still early enough that you don't really need to get into all the percentages and who's in and who's out yet. San Jose is 7 points behind Calgary. So they're going to need some help, and they're going to need to get quite hot if they're going to win the division. Now, on the road, Colorado's 15-12-6. At home, San Jose is a very impressive 19-5-5. San Jose at home has been fantastic. On the road, they've had their misadventures, but at home, they've been great. In February, Colorado's 6-4-4, whereas San Jose is 8-3-1. Over their last 10 games, Mikko Rantanen, 3 goals, 3 assists. He's showing signs. I've watched the last couple of Colorado games, and I know he hasn't been scoring the way he was early in the year. Nobody thought he'd keep that up all season, but he is showing signs of getting it together, and there's enough depth scoring going on, which is what they needed, that they don't have to have him scoring 15 points every 10 games. Brassard, 2 goals and 1 assist. He's worthy of watching since his trade from Florida. Wilson. We've talked a lot about Wilson and his contract being too much and Colin Wilson this and that. You know what? He's got 2 goals and 3 assists his last 10 games. He's played well for Colorado this year. Andrighetto, 1 goal, 5 assists. Calvert, 2 goals, 2 assists. Barry has 4 assists, and Eric Johnson has an assist to round things out for Colorado. On the San Jose side of things, Logan Couture, 3 goals, 6 assists. Pavelski, 6 goals, 5 assists. Hurdle with 6 goals, 4 assists. LeBanc with 5 goals, 3 assists. Nyquist, 3 goals in his last 10 games. They need him to put up points and get some goals and show why they have faith in him. Shimmick, 2 assists, and Braun with 2 assists. Erik Karlsson's apparently out for a week. At least that's what I read. And if so, I would think Shimmick will get a chance to play a little bit more offense. He's not a bad guy, that Shimmick. He's a pretty good player, and we'll see what happens there. Goaltenders, no confirmation here, so I'll speculate that it'll probably be Varlamov. Grubauer would be the backup at 10-7-3 and an 896 save percentage. Varlamov is 18-15-9 with a 911 save percentage. On the San Jose side of things, it'll very likely be Jones. Dell would be the backup at 8-6-3 with an 892 save percentage. Jones, 29-13-5 with an 896 save percentage. I've discussed his save percentage a number of times. Fans of the channel know that. I would like to see it go up above 900. We're reaching the point of the season where it's highly unlikely it's going to happen. But he can reach 30 wins tonight, which makes up for a lot of other things going on, and it shows just how well San Jose has bailed him out on nights where maybe he doesn't bring his A game. So maybe it benefits them going into the playoffs. Maybe Jones sees that and he has an amazing playoff run because the team has bailed him out at points this year. At any rate, San Jose did win the only meeting between these teams this year. This is their second meeting. Let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and picks in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.